Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I hope the coffee and tea will keep you engaged and awake. So we are in the age of AI. I'm sure almost all of us have heard of AI. I just wanted to hear how many of you have been using AI in your day-to-day job. Just raise your hands and tell me. Yeah, I know some of you are doing but not raising. Yeah, okay, that's good. And how many of you are actually learning how to apply AI in your day-to-day job? So it's about using ChatGPT is good, but yeah, doing it in the business, that's good to see. That's very good to see. Yeah. So today the topic is about skilling in the age of AI. There is a lot of excitement about AI, but I also see there is a lot of apprehension about what will happen to human intelligence in the age of AI, right? So that's what I think we will cover. As I came across one very interesting quote recently that your job will not be taken away by AI, but it will be taken away by somebody who knows how to use AI. So it's very important to know how to use AI, and that's what we will try to do. And it's not just about AI in technology companies or software companies. It's about AI in every other business, be it a manufacturing company, MSME or fintech or any other business is what we would like to cover. And in my view, there are three type of personas when it comes to AI in skilling in AI, right? One is a AI leader, a leader at the helm of the company or running a business. Second is a AI builder, people who are doing things using AI. Third is a set of people who are using AI users. And then again, in terms of the skill, there are three levels of proficiencies, the beginner, and then there is a intermediate level, and then there is an expert. So we will try and cover all these aspects in the 30 to 35 minutes that has been allotted to us. We have already got 10 minutes less than what was planned. So we'll try and keep it as brief as possible. But with two professors on my side, I'm scared how I'll manage the time, right? Yeah. Yeah, so good. With that, let me start. There is an urgency to learn AI and be comfortable with AI, and the world is moving very fast. And every day morning I wake up, I hear something new. What was there yesterday is completely redundant today. So we are in a space where our ability to have a longevity in the career will depend on how we can become more and more agile and adaptive to what is changing around us, right? So with that, let me start with Victor. Victor, we keep talking about core AI skills. Just help us demystify what do you mean by core AI skills?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, ELCIA, for the opportunity. I mean, it's definitely an incredible chance to be with all of you and share our perspectives. Thank you once again. Getting into the skills, before I get into the AI skills, let me just set the context for the skills, right? So from when we talk about skills, at least at Infosys, we define the skills as skills in three horizons: the skills of the past, skills of the current, and skills of the future. Right, so whether it is AI skills, whether it is any technical skills or domain skills or whatever it is, right? It will fall into these categories, right? Any category that we look at, always I think we should look at what is the current one and be equipped, and always look for what is coming ahead as well, right? That's one aspect of it. The other dimension of skill, I think you talked about the basic, intermediate to advanced. Other dimension is, starting with the technical skills, right? The know-how of the tools and technologies to how to apply it in different industry domains, right? The domain skills, and having the right kind of a mindset, from a professional skills, from a communication to, the articulation to, be it, how to apply it with the right intent, right? And at the same time, the process and project management, right? So that defines in general, right, the skills, right, what we are talking about. Coming specifically to the AI skills, right, taking the same categorization. Number one, I think you need to have the foundational aspects first, right? When I say the AI skills, foundational things, probably it could start with the mathematics and statistics, to understanding about data, right? Understanding about data engineering, right? Data analytics, right? And building on top of it, getting into the technology aspects of AI, right? The tools, or probably how hyperscalers use it, right? As a AI application builders, you need to have those hands-on technical skills, right? And the third aspect is, while you know these technologies, how you can apply it to different industry domain, how AI is applied in manufacturing, how AI can be applied in healthcare, how it can be applied in, say aerospace, right? So you need to have how things work in each of those industries and what are those regulations in the industry. So that takes me to the fourth part of, the skills which will be needed. You need to work, within the context of responsible AI, right? Building the trust, or explainability, or meeting those compliances, right? So all this encompasses, in a larger sense, how we can define the AI skills that will be needed.
That's great. Thank you, Victor. And Professor Dinesh, coming to you. See, I would like to understand what he was talking about was more from a technology industry perspective. But if you have to look at a non-technical roles, I think most of the jobs in India in the services or manufacturing would be in the non-technical roles. So how can AI skills make a difference to them? What does it mean in the non-technical role to have a AI skill?
Sure, yeah. So let me try to be short and take less time than you as a professor, yes. And I think you gave a pretty good lead, AI leaders and AI users, right? So I think AI leaders, from what I see, having talked to different people, the ability to understand problems which can be solved by AI, problems which don't need the fancy AI, whatever was old school and whatever worked before. I think the ability to choose when you want to do deep learning or AI, I think that's an important skill, I would say, as AI leaders to have. And also being on top of the state of the art, right? Because if you see the state of the art is moving so fast, it would be good to have access to a lot of POCs that are built using state of the art and current, right? I think that is something that AI leaders should probably have access to. And also the ability to understand the limitations of AI. For example, certain things it is better not to maybe go into models which are black box models. Maybe what could lead to deployment risks, right? Some errors which can lead to huge risks, and also things that don't have enterprise grade quality, right? Things like that. I think these would be very important for AI leaders and also AI users, the way you put it, right? I think the ability to imagine applications, right? I was just talking to somebody and he said he just used multiple AI tools and came up with a brilliant video, which was possibly going to take, I don't know, 3 months to make and so on, right? So I think in terms of AI users, I think if they can use some of the tools and push the boundaries of imagination, I would say that is something that would be really great, right? And also creating agents to solve problems. And I feel sometimes maybe it's high time that instead of doing everything self-taught, which seems to be a mode many of us are into these tools, right? So I think some amount of in the schools, if we can bring, say, at least AI skills, right? Just imagine and explore the possibilities. I think that would be fun at a school level, I thought. And also the ability to reason with data, as he mentioned, right? Rigorously, statistically valid, and so on. And lastly, I want to talk about one experience I had when I went to France. There was a Paris city region office we visited. And you see there were lawyers embedded in the city office, which funds projects for development and so on. And you can see that a CDO, the chief data officer there, is just playing with models, choosing different models, exploring different use cases. The lawyers are telling you this doesn't comply with GDPR, let's make it better. And it was wonderful to watch that this is responsible AI in action, right? So I think something like that we should have more of, where people with different skill sets come together and work together. I think that will be good to have. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Thank you. See, what I have seen is while we are thinking of skilling in AI, etc., on one side, AI adoption is increasing. On the other side, I also think that we as humans are becoming over dependent on AI, right? Personally, I have become so addictive to using some of these things like ChatGPT, etc. When I have to write a very important mail, I have to go there and check whether it is written correctly or not. So without that, I'm not able to even think of a structure for a mail. So I'm sure similar things will happen in everything that we are doing. So Professor Amrish, to you, see, how do we ensure that in the process of skilling AI and adoption AI, we as humans don't get de-skilled in what we are supposed to do, right? So that's a very important thing because we keep thinking of positive things of AI, but there are not so many positive things about AI. So just wanted to get your perspective on that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think that's a very serious question actually. And I'm seeing that every year, even in my students, which are supposed to be some of the brightest in the country. I just spent a couple of months in Sweden this summer, and we had a little discussion also on AI, and it's how we should adopt AI in our activities. And one of the students said, I deliberately do not use AI. And I asked him, why do you not? And he said, because that will make me dumb. And of course, you can ask what kind of response is that? Because everybody wants to solve the problem very quickly, right? And efficiently, and all the other things that are good about how industry and practice should operate. Then last 3 weeks I was in England, and one professor came and he said, I was expecting my student to finish reviewing 100 papers in 1 week and come back and give me a summary, and I was very disappointed that he did only 5. Now look at it. On one hand, you want the student to be efficient and therefore read 100 papers and summarize and review and critically understand and make a gist of it. And on the other hand, you want that student to eventually become somebody who can critically review somebody else's work and tell whether it's worthy of being kept or not. The entire edifice of science is based on that there are some people who understand a certain subject better, and therefore pieces of knowledge that they say are valuable are the ones that we need to keep and build on, standing on giants' shoulders. And this is a major dilemma. Imagine, ultimately, who takes responsibility? Let's say AI makes a mistake. And who takes the responsibility? And a bridge falls. Does the human take or AI take? Ultimately, it's human who has to take the responsibility, right? So somebody should be able to tell that the knowledge that is passed on is worthy of being applied. And I think we need to have a major emphasis on understanding fundamentals and being able to solve it on our own, so that this capability of whether the AI is right or not can be adjudged at least at the ballpark level. It's like learning how to do maths at a level so that we do know when we are pushing the wrong button on our calculator. That's absolutely essential.
So now, Victor, now that AI skilling is necessary, despite all the apprehensions that we have, how do enterprises or companies go about skilling their people right from the entry level to middle level to leadership? What are the gaps you see in what needs to be done and what is being done today?
Just start with some of those statistics, right? So one of the analysts, they say close to about 75% of the workforce, the current workforce, are not prepared for the future skills, right? So that's the reality on the ground, right, in the industries. And close to about 70%, they just live, based on the shallow skills. So they don't have the advanced, the depth of skills. They just, manage with what they have, right? So some of these things are startling number, right? This is the the reality, and this is what is happening, right? There is a massive reskilling or upskilling which is required in the industries, right? Which is a must. And on the other hand, right, when we look at the academia, right, that is, I was just reading a statement which says the entire generation is preparing for, the current generation is preparing for the jobs that will not exist, right, when they graduate, right? So that's a kind of, the state what we are living in. There is a stale, syllabus, curriculum, right? At the same time, I think there are efforts which are happening on all fronts, right? At a country level, at universities level, there are new AI curriculums introduced, everywhere. So, I mean, all across all, all aspects, all entities, stakeholders are gearing up for this, filling the gaps from the academia even to the industries, right? And it's happening. I think at least if I have to talk about what we are doing at Infosys One, I think we are working with companies, working with colleges, institutions, and schools, to enable AI skills through Infosys Springboard, right? And internally within Infosys, we are doing our own internal AI enablement, right? Across, I mean, it aligns with whatever you have mentioned in the beginning, right? Starting from making our people AI aware to AI builders and to AI masters, right? So it's something which we have started, and close to about 100% of our talent is AI aware, and we are making the builders enabled, developers enabled as AI builders and masters, who will be driving the architecture and so on, right? So that's the way it is evolving, and I mean, the work has already started. That's what I would say. The gap is being realized, and there are conscious steps being taken across all quarters.
Great. So, Professor Amresh, see you are very passionate about manufacturing and product development, have a wealth of knowledge in that space. So, given that most of the industries are also kind of being impacted beyond the IT and technology, what kind of activities in these industries like product management or manufacturing can be supported by AI, and what kind of skill augmentation can be done for those people?
I think I see the skill set that are necessary. I think it has been said that future skills, right? So if you look at what are the future skills, some of the future skills that people have spoken strongly about are ability to, well, in one sentence, ability to deal with uncertainty and ambiguity. And, the other skills that are very well definable, the ones that are possible to make explicit and transferable, are the ones that AI is going to be better at doing. So the point that one needs to identify is that what are the skills in which ambiguity and uncertainty are more, and how do you skill people? And I'm going to keep on emphasizing the importance of people in the importance of AI. Because ultimately AI is based on people's knowledge and skills that are pulled together in one place and basically run through. How do we create that knowledge? I think this collaboration, creativity, problem solving, critical thinking are some of the skills that all require being able to deal with uncertainty and ambiguity. That's one part of it, where human beings need to be trained well. For the AI, we need to identify what are the jobs in which these are less, and therefore we can have greater confidence on the results that AI produces. Is it hallucinating? Is it just creating stuff that doesn't exist? And I think one point that has been made is ability to assess the output from the AI. I just want to make one point here, that there are two very important studies that are worth mentioning. One is what is called Flynn effect. Flynn effect is essentially judging the human intelligence and whether it is improving or not improving every year, over 50 years. And for the first time in last 3 or 4 years, we are seeing a decline in human intelligence. It's a very worrying effect. And second is, there is a major MIT study that has come up now, where they compared people who use AI and are good at using AI, and those who don't use AI, and use their own brain. And it's been found that in tasks, those who are good at using AI are actually worse in being able to judge that on their own usage. And again, that's something that we have to be worried about.
So given that a large portion of our the income in India comes from services industries, manufacturing is also growing now. It's very important that we have to skill people and get up to speed. The world is changing very fast. So in your view, Professor Dinesh, what is your view on the current training programs, be it internal or external? Are they kind of sufficient to meet the growing demands for one is the scale of training, other is a variety of training that is required?
Sure, yeah, thank you. So I think on the academic side, maybe we'll discuss it later, but from a gap point of view of what skill gap could exist in current industries and how it can be addressed and so on, right? So I think we talked about AI leaders, we talked about AI users. So AI developers, if you think about, right, one of the ability is to troubleshoot, right? You take an existing model, run it, and it doesn't work, right? So now what do you do? I mean, is it a data problem? Is it an annotation problem? Or is it a model that is a problem? Or is it training the model a problem? Or is it that you have formulated the problem itself wrong, right? I think there are several places where, there is scope to change and make something work, right? I think that is an important skill, right, to troubleshoot AI in some sense. And one example where IIITB has collaborated with Samsung R&D when they were trying to increase their R&D presence and so on was a MTech program where 30 students came in and they had coursework, which is sort of the foundation, right? But they also did a thesis, each of them, most of them, and here we could see that they were eventually trying to solve a particular problem, which could be of interest for the company or general interest, but they were trying to do something novel, and they were basically trying to do this troubleshooting, right? Where they make something work, but they also understand what you need to do in terms of formulation, data, annotation, model, training, everything, right? So I think that is a skill that needs to be developed. Sometimes that skill also is very mathematical. So when we upskill, we also might need to look at the math aspect as well while troubleshooting, right? Otherwise, they're going to be just looking at APIs and don't know what's happening, right? Because sometimes they say one theory is worth 1,000 experiments. So having one clear understanding saves a lot of experiments, right? So I think that's an important skill to have, I think, yeah.
Well, it's very desirable to have AI skilling. Also, resources and budgets come into picture, right? So, Victor, in your view, how can organizations do upskilling programs more efficiently and bring in more practical AI learning for their employees?
Yeah, I'll cover that briefly in two aspects. I touched upon what we do as an enablement program internally. So one is, we have infused, we have our own foundation program, the graduate onboarding program, what we do, right? So in addition to training them on full stack, regular, programming, technologies and other development aspects, we have deliberately, kept the AI tools towards the end. We have not missed it, but we have kept it towards the end so that, they learn the traditional aspects and then, get introduced to those AI tools so that, they'll be able to validate it. That's number one. So we try to, infuse, AI and the enablement programs at every stage. That's number one. And for the existing employees, as I said, we did a massive exercise of making everyone AI aware and focused programs on, for example, for AI builders, how they can work on AI tools by hyperscalers, right, and become a more hands-on, right, or probably for AI masters, coaching them to fine-tune LLMs, right, or probably curate them for specific industry applications, right. So those are some things which we have kept it at different proficiency level. And consciously, it is added in all of those continuous education programs as a mandatory add-on, right, in every aspects that we do. Right? That's one part of it. And second, right, if just preaching doesn't help, right? You have to actually use it and show those examples, build that mindset, right, of using it, right? So that's the important part. So we have built our own learning platform which is powered by AI, right? And our own employee experience, the chatbots that are powered by AI, right? So that people use it, deliberately, people, go to it and learn from it and use it, right? And not that, I think there are, small language models and, a specific, to specific, industries are being built, right? And there are millions of code being generated by, Copilot by our developers every week, right? So all these things are, conscious steps and investments, engagement, at every stage which is being made. And at the same time, all of that is governed by our, responsible AI, framework, and organization and compliance, and at the same time ensure that the explainability aspect is taken care, right? And we meet all those regulations. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Professor Dinesh, it's to you. See, my son, when he was in 7th standard, he had Microsoft Word as one of the tools to learn. The content in the book had a very different version, and the version he had on the laptop was very different, right? So whatever instructions were there in the book would never work on the laptop. So that was the gap between what was being taught with what was being current, right? But now when he was in 10th, I think 11th, he had AI, and he was learning NLP, which is natural language processing, which my team members also do, right? So I could actually see the content could actually catch up in 2 years, and I was very inspired and impressed by what the government did. But coming to AI yesterday was different, today is different. From an educational perspective, how are you trying to keep AI skilling current?
Thank you. It's a very, very important question. And as you can imagine, I mean, if you have to just catch up with what's happening, it's very difficult for a faculty, right? So it's not easy, right? In our institute, I think even at IISc, there is a computational data science department. We have a brand new data science and AI department, and the country has recognized that, for example, there is a GATE exam in DSAI that has started. So there is a widespread recognition that you need people who are deeply skilled in data science and AI. So we have started a BTech program in AI and DS. We have started a MTech program in AI and DS. And some of these students are, for example, taking courses like machine learning, statistical machine learning, statistics, right at the second semester, right? So math is very important. Hands-on programming is very important. Data structures, whatever is important for computer science is also important for DSAI, right? So we have tried to create a curriculum which is sort of AI first in some sense, right? So that is one of the way we are thinking to sort of reorganize our curriculum and teaching towards what is current and happening and so on. And if you see some of the fundamental principles from where all this has emerged is basically deep neural networks, which is training several layers of neural networks, and then some other additional ideas in reinforcement learning and so on, right? So in terms of the technology path. But there are lots of interesting applications around it that has also come about, right? So in that sense, I think as an educational institution, we need to give the foundations, fundamentals, and then there will be something on top which will be the current things, right? For which we have tried to make sure that our curriculum is up to date, and also we have mandated all faculty to take advanced courses. For example, an advanced NLP would be a very important course maybe in recent times, right? And we also have the possibility of collaborating with, say, adjunct faculty. Being in Bangalore, people can come, they can talk about some of the things that people are doing, OCR and so on. So we can have adjunct faculty who can talk about some of the projects that they are doing. So which I think is an interesting way of making sure that at least the ones who are interested in joining industry eventually, they know what is currently happening in the industry, right? And also we have our certification programs which are more at a, AI beginner or at a level which is much more accessible to a larger population, right? So I think these are some of the ways in which we have tried to make sure that our academics is also ready to run, because we have to run. I mean, that is very clear. Yeah, thank you.
Maybe I'll open up to the audience here to ask any questions. Any of you have any burning question that you want to ask? You can pass this one.
Yeah, we can.
Some of us cannot hear.
Professor, she was saying AI taking jobs. Please continue.
Yeah, we only talk about AI taking jobs, but what about academic dishonesty? I think there's a lot of loss in learning, independent research that we were taught as kids, writing essays or solving chemistry equations or mental mathematics. All that, yes, of course, with AI, it's become much easier, and every school, institute now allows the use of AI. But I feel somewhere that integrity goes away, there's some sort of dishonesty, so would like to know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that's a very important question to ask, and I think it is increasingly going to be a more and more important question. At the end of the day, at least there should be enough people in the society who are able to think independently and create new knowledge that are not dependent on essentially an assimilation of other people's knowledge, which is basically what AI does. Right? Deep learning is nothing but taking a large amount of data and running through essentially a neural network and adjusting the in-between coefficients to ensure that the input and output match with each other. And you hope that in the new problem that we solve, basically feed either input or output, that you back-propagate or forepropagate and you get the expected output. But you do not know whether that output is actually right output or not. Okay, that's the fundamental problem with AI. Anyway, but let's come to the fundamental problem with human beings. The way we learn is not by taking a very large amount of data and running through neural networks. We run by looking at a relatively small set of samples and bits of theory, which are basically generalizations of knowledge from the past, and put these together to make sense of new piece of knowledge. So how do we ensure that our children are able to learn that and have that very important ability so that they can create the knowledge that can feed into hopefully AI later on, who can do the more mundane pieces of work. So it's like running, do we teach our children how to push buttons in a calculator? Or do we teach our children how to add numbers with each other and subtract and multiply and divide? If you cannot do that and you give a large number, I can do a ballpark calculation to see whether by and large your number is correct that calculator has put. And if we lose that as a society, that ability, that we do not know what we are feeding. And it is not only the joy of learning, but the ability to learn itself that will be lost over a period of time. You do not use your muscle loses its strength. Same is true for cognitive muscles. So it is absolutely essential now that they learn their ability to do these things on their own before they get skilled in getting AI to do it. Which is basically saying, can you do my homework for myself? Rather than I do my homework and falter and fail, very important to fail, and then learn from that failure of what's correct. This is absolutely essential. So we need to find a way in which fundamentals are taught of how to learn and not just pass it on to AI, that please do my homework. This is essential.
Well, Amresh,
Satish, if we may just add it, right? Yeah, just a point. This may be the simplest of problems, right, that we are facing. I'm sure, I think the jobs will go away. It will create new jobs. but I think we are heading towards much more bigger problems, right? I'm sure, I think yesterday something came to light, I'm not sure how many of you have read, right? An AI system in a company was just fooling around, just erased all the employee data and created, 4,000 plus, fake records, right? And for the last 3-4 months, it was just, acting as though it is obeying all the commands, right? And finally, it just completely taken over, right? Only yesterday, I think it was accepted that it was doing all the fake things, right? So we are heading towards, such a scenarios as well, right? Because some of the things can be handled and mitigated and, probably corrected, but this is also something, that we can anticipate in the future. Yeah, that's the other side of the story.
Good to see somebody talking about academic honesty, etc. But I was actually surprised and shocked when a startup got funded and the startup was into cheating, right? It got a big funding from very well-known VCs and it helps students to cheat in the exams. And this is an accepted fact in the world where just focus is all about getting things done, right? So it's very important to have ethics. I had questions around ethics. I know we are running out of time. But maybe we can ask, we can have one more question if anybody has a question around.
Yes, I think already someone has got a mic over there, yes.
Hello. Yeah. It's a similar kind of a question, okay. So someone in the delegate said, they told, job, we are not losing the job is transforming. Okay, about the job is fine. What about the skills? Like we build from the traditional way or the ancient ways. We build, right, like cognitive thinking, whatever the mind we build. If an app is built by AI, then what about that skill we thought like from the last 50 years or last 20 years or for the applications, where it will go? Because like today's generation kids, they will learn directly from the AI, or like whatever, like inbuilt, directly they will get customized thing. So where that skill will go? If something happens, if AI goes down, like goes in a rogue mode or it like apocalypse, who will be having that skills in the future? Is there any thoughts about that?
Yeah, it's like a pilot not knowing how to fly the plane, right? So that's what we will be. Professor Dinesh, we want to answer to that?
I'm not sure, yeah, it's
So
a very...
whom are we supposed to blame, sir? I think Modi ji or...
It's like a movie scene. Like in the future, if AI goes to apocalypse, we don't have any skills, right? Like we'll end up with like, who will handle the things?
I think there is going to be a major transformation, right? In terms of what skills people will be ready to pay money for. I think there is going to be a change, right? It's going to be big change, right? We have to be ready for it. But I think it's anybody's guess, I would say. I mean, nobody knows. I have read several books. Everybody is speculating. So I don't think there is a definitive answer. But things will happen at a slow pace. The gradient will be slow. I think we should all adapt is what I think, yeah.
Okay, on that note, I think it's time to end the panel discussion. Satish sir, you said about investors, a VC investing in a dishonest startup. Kalru buddhi kalruge gottirodu, kalru kasta kalruge gottirodu, sir.
They are very honest to publicly admit that they are into cheating. And they are not dishonest, but they enable people who want to cheat, yeah.